Good morning, Team Alabama. Here is your second article for Thursday, September the 4th, for your Achieve 3000 for today. You're going to be reading a toothy tale for your second article, a toothy tale. Please go ahead and log in to Achieve 3000. Go to the before reading poll, and you're going to complete the before reading poll for a toothy tale. Make sure you have it pulled up on your Chromebook. We are going to read the stretch article together. When we were in class, I'll read a paragraph and then the whole class reads a couple of paragraphs. And then I'll read a paragraph and the whole class will read a paragraph of the stretch article. Even if that is not your Lexile level, that's fine. It just gives you some of that harder reading to experience. Or maybe you're above that reading. So on the stretch article, this is a Lexile level of a 1280, and that may be above where we are in the 8th grade, but it's always good to push ourselves. So I'm going to read the stretch article with you, and then you're going to go back and read your article at your level and answer your questions. You must have a 75% or higher on that, and you will screenshot it and send it to me. If you're having trouble with the screenshotting, try to do the snip. And that is pushing the Windows button, the Shift, and the S all at once, and it'll cut out your score, and then you can send that to me. Okay, so here's a toothy tale. Cairo, Egypt. If you were asked to name the one invention most people can't live without, you might say it's the cell phone, the internet, or even the microwave. There's something to be said for making a yummy hot snack in minutes. But sink your teeth into this. In a recent study, more Americans ranked the toothbrush as the #1 item they couldn't live without. Yes, you read that right. The toothbrush was deemed more important than the cell phone, computer, car, or microwave. It makes sense, after all. Who wants to leave the house in the morning with an icky mouth? Since the toothbrush is so essential to us, it's hard to believe there was ever a time when it didn't exist. But for thousands of years it didn't, and people still managed to keep their teeth clean. Well, sort of, without it. So how did ancient humans clean their teeth without toothbrushes? They did exactly what we do when we find ourselves toothbrushless. They used their fingers. Evidence suggests that as long ago as 5000 BCE, the ancient Egyptians were using a tooth powder made with ash and pieces of eggshell. But since there's no evidence that they used any kind of device to apply the powder, historians surmise, or they think, that they brushed their teeth by hand, literally. Between 3500 and 3000 BCE in ancient Babylonia, it finally occurred to someone to make a tool for cleaning the teeth called a chewing stick. This earliest known predecessor of the toothbrush didn't really resemble the modern counterpart. It was basically a twig that was chewed until one end was frayed, forming bristles that could be scraped against the teeth. Word of mouth traveled even back then, and there's written evidence that people in China were using chewing sticks in about 1600 BCE. Much later, according to writings dating back to 1223, the Chinese were cleaning their teeth with a brush made from horse tail hairs, attached to a bone or bamboo handle. Later designs in Europe used feathers for bristles, which might have been a bit too soft and ticklish to be effective. Toothbrushes, as we know them, weren't extant until the 18th century, when in 1770s an Englishman named William Addis observed people using rags to clean their teeth and thought there had to be a better way. According to some stories, Addis saved a small bone from his dinner, made some holes in it, tied bristles from a broom through the holes, and then glued it all into place. By 1780, Addis had updated his invention using a cow bone and cow tail hairs, and this design became the first mass-produced toothbrush. By 1885, toothbrushes were widely available. And then, lucky for us, nylon was invented in 1937, replacing pig, cow, and horse or other animal hair as the bristle of choice. Still, it was a while before dental hygiene as we know it took hold. And in the early 20th century, U.S. schools began exhorting kids to brush their teeth and emphasizing the importance of oral health. But, believe it or not, brushing one's teeth didn't become twice daily or even daily habit until much later. During World War II, 1939 to 1945, U.S. soldiers were required to brush their teeth every day. And when they returned to U.S. soil, their newfound habit made its way into the mainstream. And now, not so many decades later, the toothbrush is totally indispensable, not to mention versatile. Not only do today's toothbrushes come in many shapes and sizes, but they can spin, vibrate, massage, whiten teeth, or even beep to let you know when you've brushed long enough. The toothbrush has come a long way from cow bones and animal hairs, and that's certainly something worth smiling about. There you go. So you're going to read your article of A Toothy Tale, and you're going to answer your activity questions. You must have a 75% or better on this. So that is your second article for Thursday, September the 3rd. Have a great rest of your day, Team Alabama.